Like, God damn.
The hell's that? All right, I guess let's get this
fuck
party
even is
started.
What the hell even is that?
Sorry, Bear. Episode 183.
Sorry, bud. He's looking at me like, what the fuck, bro? You can't warn me?
He just had laid down.
Got comfortable. Shit.
Just heard that.
His sensitive little ears.
Poor little
so
doggy.
floppy, so cute.
Poor little doggy.
He is probably one of the cutest dogs ever. He's a mix, German Shepherd Beagle mix.
Does have a cute dog little face.
He has a forever puppy face. He is starting to get gray hairs on his little snout. He is 9 years old, so he's a senior dog now.
He's a seasoned vet.
He's a senior dog. He's old, but he's still spry. He's got a little pep in his step, so we'll see how much longer he decides to stick around. I'm gonna cry like a little baby the day that you die, Bear.
He's just chilling, not even listening to you.
You don't even know
He's
what's
like,
going
oh,
on.
whatever. I'm gonna just lay here.
Oh,
Well,
shit.
speaking about crying and everything,
How's
how's your mental health doing, Eric?
My mental health is
I
fucking...
feel like we talk about physical health a lot, but how's the mental doing?
It's all right, dealing with getting my physical health back to a good place as far as
Same.
my back, my hips are tight, shit like that. But,
You should maybe go to a chiropractor.
see, I've
Just like once or twice.
heard,
nothing
I've been
hurt.
told, but I'm still kind of skeptical about chiropractors.
I feel like they're beneficial for sure, but I also feel like they're good for like once every now and again. Not like,
all the time.
yeah, like if you're doing it all the time, granted, there's some chiropractors that'll tell you need it all the time, but I feel like that's just them making money
Yeah,
in
man.
that aspect.
Yeah,
Like
but
the
I
same
mean,
with massages and stuff. Like,
yeah, well, I have that gift card to Hand and Stone that I still haven't used.
Fucking use it.
I need to use, but
book it.
I mean,
Book it.
yeah, I know that would help because I mean, if you guys don't know, I pinched my sciatic nerve at the end of November,
Sciatica.
and that can become a chronic issue if it's not,
Dealt with properly.
yeah. So I've kind of had to drop the weights and do a lot more stretching, massage gun, ice, hot, body weight stuff when I go to the gym. Dead hangs have been my best friend. Maybe I should go over to, you used to have that inverted table?
I do.
That would probably fucking, oh my God. That would be
Bring
like
you new
sex.
Bring new life to you.
Oh my God. For
You
real.
might grow an inch.
No, I feel like I've shrunk.
Could
Nah,
be.
I don't really feel like
you might
I've
be
shrunk,
slouched over a little bit. Just
Well,
to-
that's the thing too. I've had to really pay attention more of my posture and things like that. So like
speaking of posture, I'm slouching like a motherfucker in this.
so like it sucks, but we always say you got to make the best out of a shitty situation, and that's what I'm doing. That's pretty much where I'm at in my life. Just making the best out of shitty situations right now. But
You're making
it's-
chicken soup out of chicken shit.
Yeah, pretty much. But like I said, it's not it's not all bad. It's life has its ups and downs,
Hills and valleys.
But I feel like also just
Peaks and valleys.
hills and valleys. The
I
hill
like
is a
peaks
peak.
I know, but I like peaks and valleys. I feel like that's a better
Yeah,
reference.
it is. I mean, that's the right way to say it.
Yeah.
But I got what you were trying to say.
Yeah.
But I feel like just tools, things that I've learned along the way up until this point. I feel like I'm always pretty good in pretty good standing with my mental health. I just feel like I'm pretty good at just compartmentalizing things and dealing with things how they need to be dealt with and not letting it spill over to other things in my life. And like, I might not be, the happiest in this situation, or something might be bringing me down in this part of my life, but I'm not going to let that carry over to, when I go to work or when I hang out with my friends or when I talk to my family or,
Which is definitely a good thing.
things like that. So, that definitely helps. And that comes with time. Luckily I was, able to learn a lot of these skills as a young kid, 14, 15, 16, and, into, my late teens, early 20s, I was able to really start implementing those things into my life. So then when I got into my mid 20s, late 20s, it's all just kind of like second nature at this point for me to, just
30's knocking on the door for you.
Bro, shit's about a month away, month and a half away. What's today? The 3rd? March? Yep. So a little over 2 months. Bro.
The boy's knocking. Yeah, I feel like what you said is very important to not because everyone has stress, it's just bound to happen. You could be the happiest person in the world, but because I find myself a happy-go-jolly guy, and I'm stressed about some shit sometimes.
Yeah, stress is an inevitable thing. It's
correct.
bound to happen. Like, people who are 100% always stress-free there might be something wrong with them.
Yep. So, I'm stress-free majority of the time, and I don't really let a lot of things get to me, but there is the rare occasions where, between work or just life in general, something will piss me off. And then I'm like, well, fuck, let me not let this, like you said, go into other parts. For instance, if work is kind of stressing me out, I try to remember, all right, it's just work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to clock out. And like, that's not who I am. That's not my whole life.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a part of my life, but it's not, it's not everything. So,
well, things pile up in life, things are not linear. Like, there will be times where, you've got everything going as smoothly as it can and everything's fucking, doing what it needs to be doing. And, that's great. There's other times where it feels like the fucking world is just taking a giant dump on you.
Yeah.
And then there's times where that's in there in between where it's like you have a good mix of, things going well and a good mix of, a little stress, a little adversity in your life. But
which isn't bad because, I feel like that is a good measuring point when things are going good. I like there to be a little stress because it's like if things are going too good, you kind of get a little nervous.
Yeah.
Because you're like, all right,
the bridge is about to fucking collapse from under.
So it's like, it's good that, it's a balance. Like you need a little bit of stress to go along with being happy. Because then it's like, all right, now I can appreciate all of my happiness because there is this little thing that's kind of annoying me.
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like that's an important thing. And just in mental health and why I asked you, because, we've talked about this before on the podcast, but mental health has definitely become a much bigger talked about thing in recent years.
Yeah.
Before,
especially amongst men.
Yeah. Men's mental health, especially because
we even have a men's mental health awareness month.
Boom.
Which I don't even know what fucking month it is, but I know it's there.
I don't know. It might just be.
It's Black History Month, isn't it? They just fucking stacking shit on top of each other now.
Could be.
They're running out of months. We only got 12 months to work with. So. Too many things to be aware of. Shit.
No, it's November. I was way off.
Movember. That's why. But that's also no November. That's also no shave November. So
men are just going through
it. November is a shitty month.
It says November is National Men's Health Awareness Month. And then there's like a little picture that it says June is Men's Health. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh, we got two. Who knows? Every other day is like a national fucking donut day, national fucking kick your spouse in the ass day, national fucking kiss your dog on the mouth day, fucking all types of days.
I guess it's June, actually.
Not November?
No. I guess it's June. Is it June or November? The month is...
We're trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah, we'll say it's in June. Fuck it. Anyways.
Right.
Back to what I was saying. It's more talked about now, and especially like athletes kind of were a big, forefront
Kevin
or
Love,
a big stage for it.
Fucking DeMar DeRozan. DeMar, I hear it, the less I like it.
Yeah. Drake, that shit's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Good old Drake. But yeah, I feel like it's just becoming a little bit more. Statistically, there's a higher suicide rate amongst men than women.
Well, because men have to kind of deal with, not saying we have to deal with more than women do, because women deal with a lot. Yeah. It's just men have, I feel, a lot more stress on their table or on their plate at most times.
Yeah, well, that and it just wasn't really like socially acceptable.
Well, there was no outlet.
Yeah, it wasn't as socially acceptable for a guy to fucking, because if you fucking bitch and complain, then it's like, bro, stop bitching and complaining.
Yeah, stop being a bitch.
Yeah, suck it up. Like, life sucks. Which again, I feel like as a guy, I feel like I I think like that a lot. Just
We have,
with myself.
I feel like, yeah, we definitely have that part of like the suck it up mentality.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
but that's,
get over it.
It's also life too. Like, there's only so many things that I can allow myself to be stressed about. Because like, if you let it happen, you'll be stressed about fucking everything. Like the fucking dust bunnies on the floor, or I forgot to fucking put a dish in the fucking dishwasher, and now that shit's gonna bother me. Like, there's just so many little things that can pile up that you could just let stress you out, or you could just, all right, well, I know that dish is there when I'm gonna get home, so when I get home, I'll just put it away. I know when I get home, I just gotta sweep, and then just move on with your day. Understand that you can implement plans to reduce stress. It's not going to take it all away, but the better, for me financially is something that, I've talked about on here, and that's something that I've, actively worked on, and, building myself back up. I'm able to, start saving a little bit more now, starting to, put back into my stocks and my investments and shit like that. Right now, it's not as much as I would like to, but as, the little that I put in, a month, 2 months goes by, I'm starting to see, a little buildup. Now when I'm able to put a little bit more money in, then I know, the route that I'm taking, the plan that I put in place is working. So, instead of putting, for example, if I'm just putting $5 a month into my stocks and shit, when I can put $20 a month into my stocks, then I'm going to see that grow even more. But it's just, taking little baby steps. I feel like a lot nowadays, especially within our age group and shit like that people are, and even younger, a lot of people are just looking for a quick fix, or looking for overnight shit. And like a lot of things that are long lasting are not created overnight. Correct. It's not made overnight. A lot of these things are they're just, you have to put in the time and you have to put in the work, and a lot of people get impatient with that. And I feel like that also contributes to why, stress levels and people's, bad mental health and not really taking care of it, because, there is that what's the word I'm looking for? There's that, I guess, stigma or whatever of like, I need to be, by age, 25, I need to have A, B, and C. By age 28, I need to have A, B, and C. Instead of like by age 20, I should know who I am myself. By age, 23, I should know how to control my triggers and shit like that. By age, and be more...
True.
Be more structured in that sense mentally, and let the superficial shit come later in life, or whenever it does come, because again, life is full of ups and downs, financial success, physical success, however whatever level of success or however you're measuring that, those come in waves. But if your mental is strong and you're able to, yourself, how to, deal with your emotions, like if something's going to bother you, how to either get away from the situation or deal with the situation, and that'll make shit like 10 times easier for you. But a lot of people get lost and flip it the other way around. Like, I need to have a house by this age instead of I need to know who I am by this age.
Correct. I mean, I feel like that's definitely a big part of not just basically people today. Like, they think more of not necessarily superficial, but more materialistic things like, oh, I need a nice car, or I need I need a house, but like you're saying, by certain ages. And I mean, I've even fell victim to that. Like, I thought, when I was like 18, 19 years old, I was like, oh, by 25, I'm going to have a house, I'm going to be set, And then shit doesn't necessarily work out like that. And it's not, any fault of my own. Some of it might have been. But it's not like a huge fault of my own. It's just we're putting unrealistic expectations on certain time frames when it's, like you said, it would have been better for me to be like, all right, let me understand myself more. Let me figure out how what can I do that's going to, one, make me happy.
Yeah.
Then, after your happiness is figured out, then, oh, how can I make money while being happy?
Yeah.
And then while I'm making money and happy, oh, now I could buy these things that I wanted to buy.
Yeah.
Whether it be, a nice car or be a house.
Well, I feel like, because you said it,
like
I mean, it does fall into... our generation, but I feel like that comes from like, our parents, our grandparents, because they were more focused on, a lot of our grandparents were, they had families and houses and cars and all that shit by the time they're, by 25, they have all that shit, but they haven't taken the time to, deal with their own demons, you know, deal with whatever insecurities or childhood traumas or whatever. And then, you know, 20, 30 years goes by, and now you have, instead of like, you know, 10 years or 5 years of trauma that you're trying to deal with, then you have fucking 30 years of shit that you're trying to deal with, and then trying to deal with that at an older age when you don't necessarily have the energy for it, or you don't feel, you know, just what comes with getting older then.
And that's when, you know, so many of those things pile up. This shit can boil over.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, I could just put this to the side. Shit's like a constant everyday pain in your side now because you let it, you know, lay by the wayside for,
and that could literally lead to like health issues. Like if you the more that you hold in, you know, that could lead to, you know, stress induced stuff, you know, high blood pressure, shit like that, and, you know, heart problems, you know, things like that,
cancer.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, it does, you know, people like want to joke around and shit, you know, you need to fucking take a mental day or check it, but like that shit is like for real. Like, you know, people need to be more, especially, and I say this because, you know, we were able to kind of, you know, we were not born into it, but like we grew up in the time of like where it was, you know, becoming more acceptable. I say this more for like, you know, if we do have an older audience, you know, people who are, you know, in their mid 30s, their 40s, you know, in their 50s, that, you know, haven't really taken the time to deal with shit that happened when, you know, they were 15, 16, 25, 26, you know, 30 and all that shit, and let it pile up. And now, you know, in your 50s or 60s trying to deal with that shit now, it's like, you know, it's sad to see sometimes, but
it's going to be a much harder battle for you letting, you know, something from years ago, you know, still be a constant. Like, don't let it be a reminder. Just take the time and try to start. And like Eric said, little by little, it's not like you're going to get over problems in one day.
Yeah.
Nothing's a one day fix. But if you start working at it, you might have, you know, clarity from it, and you can build a better relationship with, who knows, you might have problems. You might have get in fights with people because of certain issues. Well, and like you could fix some relationships.
I'll use my dad as an example. You know, I've mentioned on here a couple of times, like, you know, we weren't, you know, really the closest when I was growing up and shit like that. And, you know, as we got older, we were able to, you know, mend bridges, and we have a great relationship now. But that's somebody that, you know, he was able to kind of, you know, reflect on what he was doing, you know, see what he was contributing to the problems in his life, and then take a step back and kind of like, you know, eat that humble pie and understand it's like, all right, well, I need to, this is what I've been contributing to my issues. This is how I can fix them, and at least, you know, attempt to reconcile some of these things. And up until this point into his life, he's 52 now.
And build better relationships.
No, he's 50, 51 now. And yeah, so I mean, he built, you know, me and my dad have a great relationship now. You know, him and my older sister have a great relationship. You know, he's been able to, you know, get to what he wanted his life to be, as far as like, you know, with work, with, you know, superficial stuff, with, you know, with family and things like that. And, you know, and that's something that me and him have talked about. That's something that I applaud him on, and that I admire about him, is that resilience, and that, you know, the wherewithal more than anything to, you know, understand, all right, I'm doing something wrong. What is it that I'm doing wrong? You know, there's something that's holding me back. What is it that's holding me back? And then being able to, you know, reflect inside himself, and then, you know, put that shit into action. So, you know, it's possible, but it's hard. And you know, and like I said, you know, it seems like the older you get, the more you hold back, the harder it is to, you know, get back to a good place within yourself, that you know, that you
get to a good place mentally, where it's like, you know, that not all of these issues are going to, you know, take you out, basically.
Yeah.
Knowing that, okay. And one thing you said about like, compartmentalizing. Yeah. Just certain issues, and knowing that, like, okay, for example, work. When I get stressed about work, not letting that come into my relationships.
Yeah.
Not letting that come into like my, you know, future planning. Not seeing this issue and being like, oh, this is the biggest issue in my life. No, it's a small thing that I just have to work at a little by little. I'll get over it, and then, you know, other phases and other stages in my life will be perfectly fine.
Yeah. I mean, another thing that helps with that too is like just finding a way to decompress. Like with work, you know, it's a great example. Everyone has to fucking work. Not everybody loves their job. Not everybody's, you know, living their dream of doing what they want to do for a living, and, you know,
on an
doing
everyday
what they
basis.
love. So, I mean, finding some type of outlets, finding some type of way to decompress. For me, I like going to the gym. I like, playing video games, and that's enough for me. I've never really been one to bring work home with me and anything like that. And, the days that I, work is, being a pain in the ass or I'm stressed because of work. Yeah, I hit the gym real quick. Hey, I'll hop on the game real quick and chill out or, things like that. So, I mean, finding some type of way, and it's different for everyone. Maybe, reading a book, or you want to go paint, or maybe go for a walk outside or something like that. But like having some type of way to, decompress from the day, from the, the grind that just that you have to do from, just because of life and how life is set up right now. But that also comes with, figure yourself out. What do you like? What do you don't like? What makes you tick? What makes you go? What motivates you? What brings you down? What slows you down? What makes you want to fucking lay in bed and not do anything? I mean, it's a lot of fucking just.
And everyone has those days. There's days where the happiest of people.
Oh yeah,
because I'm a happy guy. Happiest of people wake up and you're like,
fuck,
I don't want to get out of bed today.
For real, like this fucking blows.
Like I don't want to do shit. And sometimes.
Especially when it's fucking 5:30 in the fucking morning, 4:45 in the morning. It's like shit.
Yep, when it's dark and it's cold.
I shouldn't be awake right now. The sun's not even
cold
out.
days is what does it. When you're waking up that early and it's cold, you're like, I don't want to leave my bed.
Or when the fucking minute you step outside, you're drenched in sweat because it's fucking 90 degrees humidity. And fucking 80% humidity.
Yeah, that shit sucks. I'm not even gonna lie. That pisses me off sometimes.
But that's character building shit. You heard?
Sweating before 7 a.m. That's a bitch.
But that's also why, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, like why doing, physical labor, like doing manual labor jobs, I feel like works for me, works for you because it, it puts a lot of things in perspective. It puts a lot of life in perspective. It's like, it's an honest living, you got to go earn that shit. Yeah. And for as much as I,
and it helps you kind of shut off some of the things you're dealing with mentally. You kind of forget about that when you're working with your hands.
Yeah.
Like you're just worried about that.
You have to pay attention to what you're doing. Yeah.
Correct. You're worried about that task.
Especially when you were dealing with machines that if you fuck up, it can hurt you.
I could lose my fingers. In your case, you could lose an arm.
Bro, I told you one time I was using the edger and the fucking, I guess whoever tightened it, put on the new blade before I didn't tighten it all the way, and the fucking bolt came off and the fucking edger blade went flying. Didn't hit anything. Didn't hit a car. Didn't hit anybody. But like.
That's scary as
shit. Yeah, shit like that. Like
I've thought about that, like using a Makita. I'm like, I check the bolt just to make sure because I'm like there's videos. I don't know if you've ever seen on Instagram. Like it's like always wear safety glasses, and there's like half a blade in the dude's glasses. Yeah, like, and OSHA don't be listening, but I don't always put on safety glasses. I use my squinting glasses. I'm like, okay, quick cut, but I'm like my eyelashes will catch it, but it's like chips of tile. Fuck yeah.
Prime example right here. Y'all can't see it, but I have a big old fucking scar from a chainsaw.
They probably can see it. Yeah, like the camera's not.
I mean, it is a pretty nice camera. Yeah. But I mean, that was just me being kind of like careless a little bit. But I have seen like chains snap and shit like that. It doesn't hit anybody, but like, it's
little things. I mean, there's the craziest things that could happen. I mean, I was just doing tear out the other day. I was wearing gloves and it was like wires though. So like the sheetrock had wire in it. And we were breaking it, and the wire cut straight through my gloves. Luckily, it didn't get me bad. It's just like a little cut, but I was like, oh.
Yikes.
Wow.
Yikes. Yeah, but, all that, all that to say, just fucking pay attention to yourself a little bit more.
Take some time. If you need a day, this guy, prime example, he takes his me days.
Oh, yeah, you need to.
Yeah.
Fucking sleep, catch up on some sleep, play some video games, eat something that you like. Fucking indulge a little bit. But again, there's a fine line. Don't overindulge. You gotta fucking I mean, life is a fucking balance, and that's the hardest part, with the mental health, with physical health, with just with life in general, is just finding that balance that's gonna work for you so that you could be productive but also not wear yourself out and burn yourself out, because then when you do, then then inevitably all the things around you are gonna they're going to suffer as well. So
I was just about to say they're going to suffer. Well, going off of this mental health, physical health, So,
drink your water too.
Yep, definitely need to do that. So I don't know if anyone has heard about this, but there's this challenge called 75 Hard. So what the 75 Hard challenge is I think it's like 6 or 7 rules, but I'll break it down to simple ones. So it's you stick to a diet. Like it could be any diet, but you stick to that diet for 75 days, no cheat meals. No alcohol. Work out twice a day. Once inside, it's 2 45-minute workouts every day.
Do they have the workouts for you?
No, you can do whatever you want, but it's just, even if it's a walk, for instance, walking outside.
Yeah.
But it's walkouts, do something outside for 45 minutes, and then, something inside at a gym. You could do push-ups, jumping jacks, whatever the case may be, but it's 2 physical activities twice a day, basically. Read 10 pages of, if it's of a nonfiction, like a self-improvement book, or it could be, anything learning-wise. So basically trying to improve yourself or learn something new. But read 10 pages a day, drink a gallon of water every day, and then the last rule is like take a progress photo every day.
What, 75 days? That's what, how many months?
It's a little over, it's like 2.5 months.
Damn.
Yeah.
That no cheat meal would be hard for me.
The
no alcohol is easy.
The no alcohol is the hard part for me, I feel. Because it's not like I'm the biggest drinker. Like, it's not like I'm drinking every day. But I more than occasionally will have a drink on the weekend. So it's like, well,
yeah,
I feel like I could do it, but it would definitely be like one of those. I'd have to first off explain to a lot of social groups and social outings, I'm doing this challenge. No, I'm not drinking. Like, stop asking me. So, but besides that, I mean, sticking to the diet part, that would be kind of annoying, but I feel like I could do that pretty easily. The no alcohol, like I said, that would be pretty easy. I got some
carrot cake in the refrigerator waiting for me, so I got a sweet tooth like a motherfucker.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out like the day I want to start this challenge, honestly. Because it's like, I know Abner's wedding. I'm not going to start it before that because that's stupid.
Damn, that's just this
I'm
weekend.
I'm not going to go to a wedding and not
make
drink.
a PowerPoint for them too.
Nice. Then I'm going on like a trip. So I'm going to probably drink during that. And then it's like,
that's the discipline part of it though. Going on these trips, going to gatherings and being able to say no.
It is truly is the discipline part. And that's why this challenge, it's not necessarily a physical challenge. It's more of a mental toughness.
Challenge. Yeah.
And like
mental fortitude.
See how strong you are, because it's basically you against yourself.
Yeah.
And what the challenge, why it's, so interesting and why a lot of people that try it can't finish it. These 75 days, it's you against yourself. And for instance, say you don't finish one of these tasks, the challenge starts over. So say you do eat a cheat meal on day 69.
Damn.
You restart.
Oh my God. Hell no. See, that's the thing. I would be more likely to break in the beginning. If I got to day 69, I'd be like, bro, fuck, like I'm already that close.
Correct.
Like,
I'm just saying, it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like people who start the challenge, it's like 2 weeks in, oh, fuck it. Then I got to restart. 2 weeks in, fuck it. Yeah, it'd be like
that would be more likely because like that's how I've been doing 20 minutes in the sauna lately. And like the first like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, I'm like, oh my God, I still have another fucking 12, fucking 13 minutes left in this bitch. Like, fuck. And that's when my mind starts like trying to, well, you can get out. You've already you did 30 minutes of cardio. You did your workout. If you stop at 15, it's not. And then once I get over that hump, then it's like, all right, bet. Like, what's another fucking 10 minutes in this bitch?
Correct.
Like, I'm already been in here for 10 minutes. So, like,
that's that mental fortitude of like telling yourself, no, you can keep going. And I've always done like physically, I have that. Like, physically, that part's easy. The workouts would be easy. Like, I've always had that no quit mentality. Like, I'd rather die before I quit something.
To a fault sometimes I have it. Yeah. It's like, just stop. It's like, no, fuck you.
Yeah, for real. It's like, you don't have to do that today.
It's like, yes, I do.
I'll do that with anything. I do it with work. I do it with working out. Like, I'm trying to, I got to leave it all out there.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's, like you said, it's a good and bad thing sometimes.
Yeah. Can bite you in the ass a little bit.
But, yeah, so.
The book thing, too. The self-improvement books, there's a couple... Like the 7 C's of Achievement, that's a good self-improvement book. The 5 Agreements, that's another good self-improvement book. I got some in my Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I haven't read that yet, but I want to. And then there's another one that's what's it called? I guess a sequel or runoff off of the 4 agreements, and it's the 5th agreement that I still haven't read yet, but pretty good.
I cannot tell you the last time.
The games people play is a great psychology book. Like it really, and I actually have the hard copy of that, but I would follow along and then with the Audible and then follow along. But that's also like, it's a lot of like basic concepts, but like, you know, and I've said this before, like I feel like the older people get, the farther removed we get from, you know, the basic things that we learned in kindergarten and first grade, as far as like how you treat people, you know, expectations, you know, you get what you put in, things like that. I feel like the older that we get, people feel like they've paid dues and you know, they've earned this, and they feel like, you know, fuck this, I've done what I had to do, and now, you know, I'm gonna kind of like, you know, just live life how I want to, which, you know, as you should, but there's also like, again, there's a balance to it. There's a, you know, still, you know, you can live your life how you want to and not be disrespectful, not be an asshole. Like, correct. You know, and people get
being nice, being polite.
Yeah, just being courteous. And I feel like the older people get, you know, people get lost, you know, in their
people get lost along the way.
Yeah, and like they feel like because I've, you know, gone through A, B, and C, or paid my dues or whatever, then I could just kind of treat people how I want or do what the fuck I want, which, you know, this is life. You have free will. You can, but, you know, then in turn that is going to affect the relationships you have. That's going to affect the reputation you build for yourself. That's going to affect the way people perceive you and shit like that. And, you know, you reap what you sow. So, you know, if that's the way you want to go about things, you know, if you have like
it's all fun and games until you actually need somebody.
Exactly. You know, if you have that mentality of, you know, you deal in absolutes and you're either with me or against me and it's my way or the highway, like, hey, more power to you. You could do that. But then again, you have to understand the consequences that comes with that.
Yep.
And, you know, a lot of people might not want to deal with that. A lot of people might not want to fucking deal with that, you know, me against the world or dealing absolutes type shit, because the world is not an absolute. Like there's so many fucking different variables and gray area.
Exactly. It's a lot of gray area where people will think, you know, like you said, me against the world, and then that's cool and all, but then something happens and it's like, oh, you realize you do need help.
Yeah, you got nobody.
You have
in your
to,
corner.
you know, you have to rely on other people sometimes, and that is the beautiful thing and shitty thing about life in the world we live in. That yes, you can do a lot of things on your own, but you're most likely not going to be a fully successful person on your own.
Nobody is. Anybody, all the people that said I've done this on my own, I did everything by myself, is full of shit.
There's a fucking mile long of people behind them that were helping them. And it could be, you know, minuscule little things along the way, but it was still helping them.
Yeah, like, that's bullshit, because there's nothing that has been done in this world has been done
by one person and one person alone.
Yeah, that's just,
besides God creating the world.
But God is not a person, though.
God is God.
Yeah, he had no beginning and no end.
He's infinite.
Yeah, so that doesn't count.
But anyways, I'm just saying, he did anything. He does stuff himself.
Is he even a he? If he has no beginning, no end. Let's not get into this religious debate. That's a whole other podcast in and of itself.
No, it's not in my agenda today.
But yeah, good. I'm gonna just talk
talk about the books.
Those books again. Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. That's one that I need to read. That's on my list. The 4 Agreements. That's one that I've actually gone through 3 times already. Great book. The 5th Agreement. I haven't read that one yet, but I've heard good things about it. Games People Play by Eric Burns. That's one that I've read twice already, and it's more of a psychology book, but I feel like psychology and self-help kind of go hand in hand. So, you know, if you are looking for, you know, self-improvement books, self-help books, things like that, those 1, 2, 3,
take a screenshot
4
of the books.
Okay, hold on.
This?
Fuck.
Here we go. I found this thing.
I have them on Audible, so that's why. I'm just going to...
I think part of the... so, I mean, there's different... for the 75 Hard Challenge, there's different rules about it. But one of the ones was like, you can't listen to any books. You have to physically read 10 pages of a book. Yeah.
Oh, well, fuck that.
I feel like that's not that hard. Granted, this is from a guy that doesn't read that often, but.
But, well, I mean, it's like I listen, but I read along. Like, I have a hard copy, and I'll read along.
Yeah.
Does that count?
I guess. I mean, as long as you're reading along.
Where did you find this? Just
challenge? Search it. 75 hard. It's like it's not a new thing. It's been a challenge.
75 hard. Make sure you type that in right. You might come up on something that you don't want to see.
Jesus.
Shit. That's why I was laughing when you said that at first. I just sent them to you.
What?
Stick to it. I didn't even. But like, where'd you find the challenge though? Like, did you see it somewhere?
I've seen it I've seen it plenty of times. I mean, there's people on Instagram. There's like influencers that have tried it. There's they did a number. They showed like a study. There's thousands of people who have tried it, and not as many have finished it because it's like you said. It's easy. A mental fortitude challenge, basically.
Well, because like what you were saying, like you're looking for a good time to pick it. It's like there's really no good time to start it because like there's inevitably something's gonna come up in 75 days. Something will come up that is gonna test that
your birthday. Ryan's birthday.
Yeah, drinking, a cheat meal, things like that. There's things that are going to, working out 2 times a day. There's things that are going to come up that are going to, test that and see if you're really about that shit. So that's, that's the thing is like, there's not really a good time to start it. It's just, you just got to start it and then deal with the shit that comes along.
I have decided to start it on March 25th.
March 25th. Damn.
You know when that day is?
That's the 5-year anniversary of No Hangover.
Hold on real quick.
I don't really have any other ones yet. I mean, I have this one that I made.
Oh, yeah, yours?
Yeah. But you're on the phone, so you can. Yeah. But I need to, remake that. You can hear Bear's little paws in the background and shit.
But yeah, so.
Yeah, but what about my birthday? No.
See? I might start it honestly on like the 20th. Just a random day. Just started on
the 20th.
It's a Wednesday.
Fuck. 420. Oh, my birthday's on a Sunday this year.
I don't can indulge in that anymore.
At all? When was the last time you smoked?
December something.
Damn you, Helen. Just kidding. No, we love you, Helen. Damn. So it's been 2 months.
Almost 75 days of that.
I'm going to indulge after this probably.
Teacher's on.
Make myself something to eat. Start chopping up this podcast so we can have it ready by tomorrow. I need to talk to someone to see if they can just teach me how to do this Photoshop shit because I love you, but can I trust you with this to be consistent? I don't know.
Well, down to the last topic of the day.
Money.
Yep. The good old stock market.
I need to start, fuck a 75. I need to start using this more. I need to start getting back on my piano.
All right, well, do that. Challenge yourself to something. So before I get into the conspiracy kind of questionable side of it, the stock market, this is something.
Life is a conspiracy.
This is true. This is something like we've talked about on the podcast as well that we want to get more into.
Yeah, we got to get Zach back on too.
We definitely need Zach back on because that's our
he knows a thing or two.
Stock market guru.
He's the expert around here.
Yep. But so yeah, I definitely want to get more into stocks. But I'm always a little nervous, a little hesitant on just because.
Just think of it as a fucking roulette table. Just fucking throw your money in there.
Fair enough. I mean, I do enjoy gambling. Might as well gamble on companies. Yeah, pretty much. So I mean, Robinhood is like a good
500 on red, bitch.
Yeah. So Robinhood's like a good starter, kind of like getting into stocks basically, and my Robinhood's okay. It's never done anything too crazy.
Damn, I was up to almost fucking 3K at one point. And then life hit me hard. But like I said, that was also, like I mentioned before, that was something that helped me, weather the storm of my shit time. But yeah, I mean, Robinhood, I want to get more onto like more serious ones like Webull, TD Ameritrade, shit like that.
I've had Webull for, I don't know.
I have it downloaded on my phone too. I just haven't. Fucking...
For real. The app's been there, but sign in, never.
That, and like I started using Acorns too.
Been had that too. Let's see.
I've been using Acorns. I don't really have that much in there right now, but you have, you're doing good in there. I don't have that much in my Acorns right now, but
that's just that's the potential like view of it. Well, I guess that would be it, right? Like that. I don't really fucking know, honestly. Yeah, I gotta learn these things more.
Yeah. I mean, and that's something too. I forget who I was talking to about it too the other day. Like, the whole technology thing, and like when older people were like, I don't know, like you guys were born with this shit and and I don't know how to use it and all that shit. But it's like at this point we're 15 years into like using technology and it being, in our hands, like at our fingertips. Like if you haven't learned at least like the basics of it and how to use your phone and how, like, that's kind of on you at this point. Like it just, I don't really feel like there's an excuse with that anymore.
Yeah, it's
even if you're older and you didn't, obviously they didn't grow up with it and it's fairly new, but like 15 years, if we're going off of 2010 and it's 2024 now, like we're using 2020 or 2010 as the start point and we're in 2024, it's about to be 15 years. Like, come on now. Like, I was a little child. I'm not in the 2010, I wasn't a little child, but I was a kid. I didn't know anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one of those things where I want to be more like, one, I need to learn it better, clearly.
Yeah.
But I want to actively, try to learn more about it, try to invest more in it.
Yeah.
Like it's all about investing your time, investing your money.
Yeah.
And hopefully getting a bigger return.
Yeah, which, if you do it right and, you talk to the right people, invest in the right things. I mean, like, there's always going to be those companies like Ford or Apple or Tesla that are kind of like, those are going to make you money. And those are the ones. But like, when you start, investing in startup companies or like, health companies and shit like that, then it's, that's when you got to do a little bit more research, see what bills are being passed and shit like that. And it's like, again, it's like, you don't have to, dedicate your whole life to it. Like, I'm not saying become a day trader and all that shit, but like, take 15 minutes. Like I said, like mostly what I read right now is articles and shit like that. And like, just kind of keeping myself informed with things. And I mean, with things that I'm not necessarily interested in, but like even like most of the reading that I do with articles are things that I'm interested in. But then I'll take time to read some, stuff that's going on in the political world or things that are going on in,
financial world,
things like that.
Fortune 500 companies,
things that don't really interest me that much, but it's beneficial to me. So
yeah, that's kind of what I was doing. And for instance, that's where I got this topic from in the first place. The stock market. That's not necessarily something I focus on or pay attention to on a daily basis, but I was reading an article and I saw something pretty interesting, so then I did more research on it. And so why I brought up this stock market in the first place, 5 of the biggest companies in the world, right? So you have Walmart, Amazon, Meta, JP Morgan Chase, and then the 5th one was what was the 5th one? Advanced Micro Devices.
Don't know what that is.
Me neither. But anyways, so what was interesting about these companies is for the first time ever, all of them at the same time were dumping a ridiculous amount of stock. And it wasn't just like Walmart, the company. It was like the Walmart members of the Walton family. The people who own the stock.
Yeah.
Were like, oh shit. So it's like, what do they know that we don't know? But
insider trading, baby.
yeah, pretty much, because over the past week, the family has sold 1.5 billion worth of Walmart shares.
God damn.
Yeah, that was over a weekend. Actually, I'm sorry, not the week, the weekend.
2 days, baby.
Yeah, they sold 1.5 billion, and that's according to the SEC filings. Like, this is already, they sold it, it's done.
Yeah.
Like, and so I was like, what the fuck? Because they took they split their stocks, which that's, I guess, a normal thing in like the stock market world. People can split up the stocks and everybody's getting paid differently. But they not only split the stocks, they then sold 1.5 billion in 2 days. Mark Zuckerberg in Meta, he sold over 77,000 shares for a total of over $37 million. So that was just like, what the hell?
Must be fucking nice.
Yep. And then good old Jeff Bezos, good old Amazon, he sold $2 billion worth of his shares in the past few days. So it's like, why are the CEOs? Oh, and then for instance, with Chase, the CEO sold off 150 million worth of shares. Like this is the first time, and this is why it was like so strange that Walmart, the Walton family, they just sold all that ahead of its 3-for-1 stock split. JP Morgan CEO selling 150 million worth of shares. He's been the CEO for 18 years. And that's the first time he's ever sold stock. So that's just like, what the fuck? And this was all in this last week of February. This has all happened.
I mean, it's an election year, bro.
Yep. And then
a lot of weird shit going on.
Like I said, Mark Zuckerberg sold, additionally, he sold another 80 million shares on Wednesday, the 21st. So, yeah.
What do you think, Jacob? What are you speculating over there?
Well, I'm speculating, one, they clearly know something we don't know. Two, these are, this isn't chump change they're playing with. This is millions and billions of dollars being sold off like nothing to them. And it's like, what do they know, or what is coming down the pipeline? Is it for, do they want money now so that they can buy up land? Are they, thinking like we're going into a recession, so maybe cash out when they can? Like, there's projections of, the economy going as in we're going down, right? Yeah. There's projections in the housing market gonna go down. There's projections in like mortgage rates going down because they're at an all-time high, so they have to go down. Yeah. But all these burst
eventually.
Correct. All these, like they call it the bubble.
Yeah.
All these fucking projections of everything, happening or everything going down. It's kind of scaring, people about it, because people who do invest in stocks, they might know clearly more than me. I'm not that informed in it. I only read a couple articles. I did 2 days worth of research to give you all this.
An expert, a leading expert on no hangover.
Reads 2 things. Yeah, call me an expert.
Get the glasses on.
But anyways, we can only speculate, of course. This is all speculations here, but it's kind of interesting to see like people acting uncharacteristic, because we say it's an election year, but there's been plenty of elections. In an 18-year time, there's been plenty of elections.
Not True. That we're having a repeat of what it was 4 years ago, and 4 years ago was fucking wild. So
True. But I mean, think about...
and one of the candidates that's running has a fucking laundry list of fucking federal indictments that he's dealing with, fucking money that he's gonna having to pay back. Like,
well, what's crazy about that?
I mean, we thought 2020 was different. This is even more different than that at this point. Like,
yeah, it's just adding to it. And I mean, we could save it for the next episode because actually, fuck it, we'll go in and do it now. So what's interesting about the Trump and like all his like lawsuits and stuff, that one of them, not all of them, because he's indicted on plenty of shit.
That's just wild. But they're really trying to fucking get this guy.
Yeah, one of the indictments is a little crazy because the state of New York it ordered Donald Trump to pay over $350 million.
Yeah.
And like, what's crazy about that is he's ordered to pay that back, but he didn't break any laws. He's ordered to pay back like loans that he took out for buildings. But what that is like basically any other person in construction or any other builder takes out loans to do construction. And so, for instance, I think they're ordering him to pay it back just because they claim he built a hotel with it, or claim maybe he didn't use it to build the hotel.
They're just trying to fucking...
They're just trying to get him on something. But why it's weird is because if they were going to charge him with that, they would have to, file lawsuits against pretty much every other skyrise in New York. Like anyone who builds a skyscraper is pulling out loans to build skyscrapers.
Yeah, but the difference is that none of those other guys are running for president. Sure. None of those other guys are fucking shaking up, the political world like Donald Trump did and still is. None of those guys are
for real calling out people.
Yeah,
that are
bullshit. I mean, he's calling out, again, lifelong politicians that. They're talking all this.
Been doing insider trading.
They're talking all this shit of we're gonna help you and shit like that, and
they only help their own pockets.
They're just And again, think what you want about Donald Trump, but he has exposed a lot of the corruption that goes on in Washington, and with all these lifelong politicians and all that shit.
Correct. I'm not saying might not be corrupt in his own sense,
of course he is.
But it's just like to shine light on everyone else that's corrupt is saying something. It's like, listen, the U.S., like, greatest country in the world, but we have a flawed system.
Oh, for sure.
And to fix said flaws, we need, I don't know about needing him back in office or definitely not needing Biden, but we need something. We need something that happens, something to change to where gets the economy back to where it should be, but more importantly than the economy, like the middle class, just all, the high class, just taxes, everything. We need reforms. We need reforms on a lot of things that are going on.
Yeah, but the people who are in power...
And I'm not old enough to run for president yet, so...
The people that are in power don't want that to happen, and they don't want to get exposed. They don't want to give up their lifestyle. People that are, yearly salaries of, $100,000, $400,000 are somehow fucking multimillionaires and fucking... hundreds of millions worth of $100 millions. So I mean, it's just, it's
Catch
fucked.
Me.
It's fucked.
2030, Jacob for president.
Good luck, buddy. We better fucking
the next
scrub everything that we just fucking talked about on the podcast and shit.
Not today, but I'll be fine.
Let's start bringing that shit up.
I got 8 years of political training to go through.
You better start fucking running for local offices, or fucking get the money so you can just fund your own campaign. Whichever one's going to be easier for you.
We'll figure that out.
I'll vote for you, Jacob. Just make me your VP. I'll be your vice president. I mean, Donald Trump, speaking of fucking trying to get people, they've been trying to have you been paying attention to this P. Diddy shit at all? Oh my God. They are fucking hammering him with fucking sexual assault cases. Fucking guys are coming out now saying that P. Diddy sexually assaulted them and all this shit. Like, they're throwing the fucking book at his ass, trying to get him fucking...
Or something.
They're trying. I mean, they keep on coming up. Girls talking about, he sexually assaulted me fucking 20 years ago, this, that, whatever, and all that. But, like, a lot of the shit that's coming out is kind of damning stuff. Especially for a guy like P. Diddy, who, obviously his image is important to him and all that shit. But, like, the thing is, like, again, with, like, it kind of leads into Donald Trump. Like, none of this is, like, surprising to me, really. Like with the whole, Donald Trump running for president and, oh, my God, well, he's this and he's that and he's a racist. He's sexist. He's a bigot. It's like, okay, well.
Show me a white politician that's not those things.
Well, not even that, but, like... He's been popular since the 80s. Yeah. It's like, we've known this. Like, no, I've never thought that, like, Donald Trump was an outstanding guy.
Correct.
He'll take so, like, the fact that people were, like, up in arms about it and, like, oh, my gosh, I can't believe, like, he's this and he's running for president and all that. I'm like, We knew this when he was fucking running The Apprentice, when he was fucking firing people and fucking, and like we've known this.
He's been on television. He's been in front of your eyes for how many years?
People are just fucking stupid. The same thing with P. Diddy. We've known that he's kind of a fucking, to acquire that type of success, especially financially, you have to be built a certain way. You kind of have to be a little ruthless. You kind of have to not have a fucking moral compass, and you kind of have to, be a little fucking crazy, a little out there and shit like that. Yeah. I mean, and the one video that I fucking, it makes you want to fucking go take over the world when you watch this video. But that video of P. Diddy that he's on the phone, he's on MTV and he gets something. He's like, and he fucking steals the deal, closes the deal. And he's pretty much saying like, anything that you can do, I can do. Like, give me something. Like, I fucking can take over the world. Like, have you seen that video? Man, that shit makes you want to fucking become a businessman and fucking, but like, you see in the video, like, you have to be wired a certain way. You have to, view life a certain way. You kind of have to view it as a game and view people as pawns. Yep. And
life is a game at the end of the day. And it's not necessarily about winning and losing, but it's
when you talk about games, that's what people usually go to is who's a winner, who's a loser.
True. When I say life is a game, I mean
and that's where it gets murky. That's where it gets dangerous.
That's the the gray area we were talking about. Mm-hmm. That some people function well in it. And
it doesn't make it good though.
Correct. It doesn't.
But that's what separates, a lot of, for lack of a better term, the haves and the have-nots, the kings and the peons, and the
peons.
The peons getting pissed on. R. Kelly, baby. I'm sure P. Diddy was pissing on people too, literally. With all the shit that was coming out, he was fucking all these dudes and shit. Apparently Meek Mill is now in the... You haven't seen any of those memes that Meek Mill is in the lawsuits of the sexual assault and all this shit, bro? It's fucking wild.
I saw
it's fucking wild.
Like Rick Ross in it.
Oh, bro, yeah. Well, now a whole bunch of old videos are surfacing of like P. Diddy. Like there was one of him like asking Justin Bieber like, why don't you want to hang out with me anymore, shit like that. And just in the context of everything that's going on, it looks pretty damning. But like, who really fucking knows? But I mean, also Hollywood and superstardom. Obviously, as we can see, the Jeff Epstein stuff, the Harvey Weinstein stuff. Like once you get to that certain level of power, like shit is weird. Like again, you have to have a certain type of mindset. Like you're not just trying to gain that power just to have it. Like you're trying to gain that power so you can do what the fuck you want with impunity and like not have to fucking
use like names against people.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, I mean, again, Jeffrey Epstein, like they have the list of all these fucking politicians and celebrities and all that shit that was fucking at his island and all that shit. Like there is a distinct difference between money and power. Now you can have money and have power, and those usually go hand in hand, but you don't necessarily have to be the richest dude to have the most power. Yeah. So I mean, and that's what a lot.
Balls, though.
Yeah,
you gotta have big balls.
Yeah, you do. You gotta be willing to swing for the fences.
For real. You got to pretty much say whatever is on your mind and live by it. You got to live and die by the sword, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. So, it is a
dog eat dog world.
Yeah, it's cruel stuff. I don't necessarily, subscribe to that idea. I feel like, people like that are usually what's wrong with the world. But again, you have to appreciate it for what it is, though. Like, to have that type of dedication, to have that type of drive, to have that type of mindset that you're literally not going to let anything stop you it's impressive. It's somewhat admirable, but like, it's also like, it gets very ugly. It gets very dirty. It gets very, it gets very muddy sour real quick. So, it's all about your perspective on life and, again, what side of the game you're trying to be on.
Winning side.
Shit.
Anything else from some winners over here?
We're trying to be winners. Fuck. We're working on it.
We win in other aspects.
Post on fucking TikTok.
I'll do it.
Today.
All right, I can post this in a bit.
Yeah, because I just posted one before we started.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean,
I don't know why, but like I said, TikTok for me, it's definitely the The later we post, the better it is.
Fucking tiki-toki. Tiki-toki. Yeah, I mean, we're a little bit over an hour in. Well, we started. So. But,
That video has the most.
yeah. But we posted that one at like 6.
Posted a little later.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, besides the 75 day challenge, you got any goals? Anything that you're trying to do?
Well, 75-day challenge, that's definitely the first thing I'm trying to accomplish. And then once that happens, a couple other things will fall into place.
Yeah.
I'll give some updates later on.
Fair enough. You can't give away all the secrets.
Yeah.
You can't give away all your moves. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat right now. I got
a couple things in the works, but podcast, y'all will know about it soon enough.
All in due time. All in due time.
Pretty
but
much.
Yeah. I don't know. Any last words? Anything else you want to say before we
log off here?
Sign out. Log off.
Nothing. We got a couple good episodes on the way. 5-year anniversary's coming, so
200s around the corner.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
We'd be doing the damn
here.
thing.
We balling.
And I'm spraying at these rusty niggas like D40. Weezy F baby. Everybody love everybody. See y'all next week.
Peace.
Deuces.